most of the time, when I'm hunting in the state forest, I'm navigating, trying to record my hunts. I'm trying to look for sign. I'm trying to look for deer. So I'm doing a lot of things. So it can be a bit stressful at times. So, and I just turned, and there was a Sambar standing literally on top of me, at about 5 meters away.
Wow.
Literally 5 meters away, and she's looking down on me like this. They think that halal is just limited to processing of the meat. Halal has a much deeper meaning to it. It starts all the way from how you even got the money to hunt that, if that makes sense.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Accurate Hunts, a life outdoors. It's a bit chilly in here. You might be able to see the steam. We've got the fire going behind us. Joined today in person by Haroon.
Yep, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you again.
Thank you.
We met this morning, and we'll get into that pretty quickly. But now, Haroon, I've been watching your videos pop up out of nowhere, seemingly, and you know the video content's irrelevant. I like the editing stuff.
Right.
I envy someone who can edit because I can't. And I know you said it takes up a bit of time.
Yeah, it does.
That's definitely a big part of it.
Yeah.
What goes into a video and what doesn't. But it's like we've met out here. We're on a farm. We've been hunting. It's, Accurate Hunts. The show's called A Life Outdoors. It's what we try and do. And I try to do a lot of my episodes outdoors in this sort of setting. And the regular listeners and watchers will know that when we meet out at Accurate Hunts HQ and things like that. It's just it's a less formal setting and a more casual conversation, and that's what we're here to do. And you mentioned that you hadn't ever heard a fallow buck croak when we were talking.
Exciting, yeah.
So I said, well, what are you doing on this weekend? And you just happened to be coming through Sydney.
Yeah.
So you live in Brisbane?
I live in Brisbane, yes. It was pure coincidence that I have a camp set up, a hunter's camp sort of a thing for a small group of ours. And then, we just started talking, and then you said, just come over, and then it's literally on the way. We don't even have to take a left or right. It's literally on the way. So I said, I'm not missing this for anything. Even if it would have been out of the way, I would have never missed this opportunity.
Makes it easier when it's on the way.
Yeah, it's just definitely, because I've never, when you said, there's still a chance, although we're in the tail end of April, and I think there's still a chance to hear some of the croaking, and we'll get into it, but this is exciting.
Yeah, I'm glad you're excited by it. One of the main reasons I brought you out here is your background, I want to say nearly traditionally and completely is state forest, public land hunting. Yep. And I wanted to show you how it's done on the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
And we experienced a few of those differences today.
It was a weird feeling, I've always been on the other side of the fence, thinking, am I on the right side or not? But every time I had to remind myself, okay, I'm with someone here, I'm not doing anything wrong. So
it feels strange walking around with the cattle.
Yeah, true.
And we did see, I reckon we saw 15 or so deer, I suppose, this morning, maybe?
Yeah, quite
in total.
Yeah.
Some were in an area we couldn't get to, and some obviously were. We'll break into that a little bit later. But one of the things I noticed, and I've seen it before, but when I introduce state forest hunters to private land hunting, and you brought it up before I got a chance to mention it, and you said, there's no sign, like there's not much footprint, there's not much poo, and you're right, it's different. And traditionally I spent a lot of time looking up, looking around for deer, but not so much looking down. And then it wasn't until I started podcasting and talking to, state forest hunters who don't have the private access, you guys spend a lot of time focused on sign.
Exactly. That's what I've kind of experienced, purely from my experience. Like you find sign, like you find old sign, at least you know that they're there, but then you're looking for that fresh sign. And then once you find that fresh sign, then I'm starting to look, more up rather than down. So it was a completely different experience for me to just start off completely with just looking up. And even I don't know if I mentioned this to you, even the walking style, you were walking, you had a brisk walk.
Yep.
And
This might surprise some people, but I can walk briskly.
and we were constantly trying to keep up with you because, in the back of my mind, I'm still tuned to that state forest hunting. And
walk slow, look lots.
Slow, walk, glass, walk.
Yeah.
And
admittedly, where we were walking today was quite open too.
Yeah.
So I was not, I'm doing a lot of Omar version of glassing. Omar's sitting down here on the side and he doesn't use binoculars, he just sees deer with his bionicle eyes, but I was doing what he did, and so I do a lot of scanning, and like I said to you, I'm looking for inconsistent shape, colour and movement, and there is only cattle on this property, so anything smaller than that and horizontal is a high chance of it being a deer. Yeah. So that's very different to state forest.
It is, but it's a different experience. I've hunted only once, like I said, in a state in a private property, but it was I wouldn't say that I did any of the hunting. It was just the farmer. He just told us where to go. We just follow the signs, take left, take right, and there will be a dam. Look across it. Sure enough, they were there. So that was my experience of private land hunting. But and I think I told you that before we started the hunt, and I think you purposely made us walk through some, gullies up and down. But yeah, definitely, it was a different experience. I wouldn't say that it was easy. It was a lot of things were still the same. Other than this, looking for the sign, you're still looking for the deer, and you're still looking. You're still walking. You're still trying to keep.
We still got terrain and wind.
And
we had terrible wind
keep
this
the
morning.
Sound low. Everything else was similar, but other than that, it was just. I wasn't doing any of the looking. It was you and Umar with his bionic look, eyes and stuff. It was kind of a relief, to be honest.
Just sit back a bit.
Just sit back a bit, just relax, just hold my rifle and just move on. Because most of the time, when I'm hunting in the state forest, I'm navigating, trying to record my hunts. I'm trying to look for sign. I'm trying to look for deer. So I'm doing a lot of things. So it can be a bit stressful at times. But this was a bit relaxing experience.
You look relaxed.
Yeah.
You've even taken your shoes off.
Yeah, of course.
So behind us here, we've got the fire going, and there's 2 pairs of boots drying out that got quite wet this morning. We don't need to name brands. Yeah. But I will say I'm wearing my lowers and they are pretty dry. I haven't taken them off yet. Yeah. But there's a pile of water on here. You wrung out your socks, or one of you wrung out your socks? And
we got pretty wet down. We are completely drenched.
We were going to record this outside, but I don't know if you can hear it in the audio. It's raining out there pretty heavily. And we had a lot of rain this morning, and then it stopped for a bit, but the grass was just soaked.
Soaked, yes.
And it was knee height in some spots. Oh, leeches.
Yeah.
Yes,
I thought they were only in at Nundle, because that's the only place that I have ever experienced, leeches and big fat ones, and I hate them. But
I think I've pulled 3 off me that were stuck on, and I've probably found 10 just trying to get on on this clothes. And
I think while we were coming in, there were still some leeches on you.
I'll probably find one somewhere when I get home.
They find their way into the most strangest places sometimes.
I want to rewind. We'll talk about today as it panned out a bit later, but you immigrated from India.
Yep.
Now, Indians, they've banned hunting.
Yep.
I know it was before your time, but I want to paint a picture or imagine how that even happens for a country, because I feel like it's probably not that far off that it might trying to happen here. Like, how does a country succumb to that? Or was it just okay, we'll back down? Or do you know much about the history of why it was banned?
Look, it's purely political. It was purely political because at that time, because India is run the majority of Indians are, the religion over there is Hinduism, and most of them are vegetarians. So the majority of Indian population is vegetarian. All the powerful ministers that back in those days and leading to here, they're all anti-hunting, and that's why. Although India has a very rich history of hunting, if you think about it, during the British rule, India was one of the primest land in the world to hunt. You used to have all those Maharajas and all the English dukes. They all used to come down to hunt over there. Different styles of hunting, and it's a very rich, diverse forest, and you have a lot of variety of deer species. You have dangerous species there, tiger, leopard. So it has a history, but then later on, it got mixed up with politics. Some few powerful people decided, okay, we're just going to ban hunting altogether, and then that was about it. And that's how although yes, during my time, hunting was banned, obviously, so we didn't hunt. But I come from a family of generations who used to hunt. So it was, if I remember it correctly, hunting was banned back in 1977 or 74. But then my father, before that, he used to pretty much hunt. And my father's elder brother, he was a forest officer and quite at a high level. And he used to use my dad as a means of culling deer as well. And where there's problems of deer in the farmland and stuff like that, so he used to use him as a professional culler sort of thing.
And species of deer over there?
So you have, I'll start with the biggest one to the smallest one. So the biggest deer species, or actually, it's not really a deer species, it's an antelope species. So I don't know, the technicalities of, it's nilgai.
Yeah, right. It's an antelope.
It's an antelope, yeah. So that's the biggest one. And then you have the second one, Sambar. Yeah, they're there. And then the third one is cheetal deer. Fourth one is there's a thing called chikara. So that's an Indian gazelle. It looks exactly like a gazelle, but it's just Indian.
Sure.
And they're small. And then you have chausinga. That's a Hindi word for four horns. Chau means four, singa means horns. So it's a four-horn deer. So that's a very, they're, I would say, like hog deer,
Sure.
the same size as a hog deer. And then you have black buck over there as well. That's the deer species. And then in the big game you have Indian gaur, which is also called bison.
G-U-R?
G-A-U-R.
Yeah.
So
and they've got like a Terminator-looking hump on their back.
And then
Alien versus
they have
Predator.
literally it looks like white socks.
They're very similar to our bentang.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but a bit more.
They have the same curve.
A little bit more ripped, like they've been at the gym a bit more.
Oh yeah, they're big and
like a bentang on steroids.
Yeah, they're very. There've been stories of them, hitting a truck and rolling it over. Stories, but yeah, they're big. They can go up to 1,000 kilos. So that was the big game back then. Elephants were never hunted.
Too sacred.
Yeah, exactly, because of the Hinduism. They're one of the gods. Elephants were never really the targeted species there. And then, that's pretty much the prey species, you can say. And then you have the wild cat family. You have tiger, leopard, black panther. And in the northern parts of India, near the Himalayas and stuff, you have snow leopards over there as well. So quite a diverse, species of animal over there. And even the forest itself, you walk for like 200 meters and you will see 100 different types of flora and fauna. So it's a pretty beautiful forest over there in India.
What about birds? Birding, shotgun, pheasant?
Birding is not really big in India. It's more in Pakistan, the other side of the border there. So that's pretty big because most of the migrating birds come through that region. So it's quite big in Pakistan.
Yep.
But India was more for the deer species and the.
So in Australia, you've shot chital.
Yep.
Sambar.
Yep.
Fallow.
Yep.
Is there anything red?
Yes, I have.
Is that it for the deer?
Yeah, that's it for the deer.
Do you feel slightly more, I want to say, connected to the Sambar and the chital? Like, was there any this is like what my grandfather used to hunt? Have you ever considered that? It's a different setting.
Yeah, it's they look they look a little different here. I would say that cheetle is definitely bigger over here, probably because of the environment and the feed they have and whatnot. Different region, but they look they're slightly bigger, but the pattern, the hide and everything is the same. But in terms of feeling, yeah, I do get that, especially with Sambar, because in India, and their behaviorism is it's the same, because Sambar, they're the favorite prey species for tiger over there, and so they're what do you call the way they are, I'm not getting the word. What's the word for cagey?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on edge. Or...
They're always on the edge, and they're the
alert.
hardest. They're always alert, and and it's true. They're one of the hardest species to hunt. So they're very shy animal in general. Even in India, it was you had to go in the deepest part of the forest to actually see them. So yeah, I mean, it's not. Look, I never hunted in India, so I don't exactly have that full connection that you're saying, but yeah, I mean, it feels nice to have a species that now that you tell me, it kind of feels like that.
Yeah, you hadn't considered it fully.
Yeah, I haven't. I never considered that. But my father, yeah, I grew up listening to. Although I never hunted in India, I grew up listening to stories from my dad, about how he used to hunt, how his father used to hunt, and their favorite was always cheetle deer, and they're like 200, 250 cheetle in a herd that they have seen. So yeah, now that you tell me about it, it kind of feels special.
I have a theory about Sambar, and I haven't spoken about it too loud because it's a crazy one, but you say that their main predator is tigers?
Tigers, yeah.
What's their colour? Colour's a tiger? Orange, black?
Orange and black.
What colour do you have to wear when you're in public land?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
like I have a theory that they possibly might see orange slightly more on the alert spectrum. I'm not saying they see
that
orange.
That doesn't really help us state forest hunters.
No, I'm pointing that out to you. But I've never had anyone prove or deny, or like I said, I haven't mentioned it, but it's just a little internal theory where I understand they might not see orange, but they might notice that colour of grey means danger.
Yeah.
If they see it in shades of grey.
No, because I never thought about it, but yeah, that's a good point.
Because they're other than cheetle, I suppose, the only ones that are hunted by tigers.
Yeah.
Traditionally,
yes.
And I know they're well removed now and things, but they still have that instinct. They have a lot of instincts they're born with.
Of course, it's in their genetics, so it stays.
And you mentioned to me today that Sambar are probably your favourite to chase. Well, they have been so far. So far,
yes. Like quite recently, I've been chasing more Sambar than fallows or reds, because since I live in Brisbane, so the nearest forest to me, the productive forest to me, are Nundle and Hanging Rocks, which hold a good number of reds and fallows. So I wouldn't say I've shot many, but I've shot few. Enough to for me to focus my attention towards a bit more challenge, in terms of chasing them. So yeah, Sambar are currently on top of my list, and it's just really exciting to just chase them, because they're so sharp, bloody sharp. Because fallow in a state forest setting, I think I heard in one of your podcasts that you mentioned about they have their
circle of influence.
Correct. Yeah, that's the word. Fallows have, in state forest, they have a circle of influence of about 150 meters, maybe, about approximately 100 to 150 meters, depending on circumstances. But then Sambar, on the other hand, I think it's 300 meters, 200, 250, 300 meters, because they're big ears. They do their job for what they're meant for. Because I've stepped on a small twig and had a Sambar honking at me at about 300 meters, which is insane if you think about it. Wind's perfect, everything's perfect, so it couldn't have been the wind. It's definitely the twig sound that alarmed her, and then honked at me, and then just bolted away in just a few seconds. And
we saw that today when we ended up down the bottom on that little herd, and they were, I think I said 55 or 65 metres from us.
Yep.
And we'll break it down a bit more, but the one you shot was 66, I think. But they were not really alert to our presence, or not to the point where they weren't running. So that circle of influence on private land is closer smaller, because they're used to farmers, vehicles, if you're cattle, you know, there's a little bit more happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that Sambar is a lot wider.
Oh, definitely. It means I have a high level of respect for them as well, because the way they're a big-bodied animal, right? So you would think when they move, they would make a lot of noise, right, in the bush. I have a story about this. I was at one of the state forests in South Coast, and we had spotted a sambar about 700 meters away. We were just glassing the area, and we spotted a sambar. She came out of a tree line, just followed the tree line for about 40, 50 meters and just went in. So I spotted that area, and I said, okay, let's come back in the evening and maybe sit over there. She might come out of there. So we went back, and obviously things look really different. When you're looking through your binoculars and when you're actually there, things look really different. Like, where the hell was this? So we tried to. It was me and my mate. So there was a creek flowing, a river actually flowing. So my mate sat on one side of the river, and I followed the river line about 150 meters. So in case if anything comes from either direction, we both have the wind was blowing on our face at that time. So anything coming from the side, we could have still caught it. So I was sitting there just right next to the river. I had a 100-meter view along the river, and anything that crosses, I can see it, right? And sitting there for about half an hour, and then there's a kangaroo that just comes out, hops out, and I'm not a sit and wait person much. I like to walk and stalk. I get restless. So I was just bored, and I was just recording the kangaroo. And he came about 20 meters away from me, and he's doing his thing. He's just eating nicely, has no idea. It was really cold. I had my hoodie on with my gaiters on, so I was nicely camouflaged, and he was doing his own thing. I was just recording. And then I just heard a small snap, behind me. Obviously, when you're focused on one thing and then suddenly something's behind you, it scares you. Like, what the hell is behind me? So I got scared, and I just held my rifle on. It was on my right hand side. Yeah, I was facing that way, and it was on my right hand side. And I just turned, and there was a sambar standing literally on top of me, at about 5 meters away.
Wow!
Literally 5 meters away, and she's looking down on me like this.
How did you feel? Scared?
She honked, and those, you can hear them from about 300 meters away when they honk.
Sounds like a freight train horn at a level crossing.
It literally blew my ears away. And then scared the shit out of me, and then just ran into the thick bush. The point of
you did, or she did?
The point I'm trying to make is she came through one of the gnarliest stuff. Right?
She didn't take the easy route.
She didn't take the easy route, right? And she did not make a single sound.
Until she was right on you.
Yeah, that's the beauty about it. They're so big, they're such big-bodied animals, and they can move such stealthily through that gnarly stuff. It's just amazing. That's when I got hooked on to Sambar. That this is what I'm after.
Get stealth to the next level.
Exactly.
I had a similar situation, different animal. It was a moose, and we were calling like you were doing, but facing that way. And I was a little bit naive and thinking about it too much. But again, one had appeared next to us at 10 meters. No noise.
Exactly.
And these things have got huge 5-foot antlers.
Yeah.
And we can't walk through the brush without our backpacks making noise. How do they? And they're just, tilt their head. And he looked at us, and they tilt their head, and he looked, and then he just kept walking. Because we were in an area, it was public land.
Yeah.
It's Canada, so it's a bit different, but no pressure.
Yeah.
So we weren't really, again, we had the wind in our face. And what he did sent us later, but he went down the bottom and then sat at 100 metres broadside for about 10 minutes. I regret, I don't know where the footage has gone. I've lost the memory card or whatnot, but it wasn't legal. So they have to have a certain amount of points to be, and the hunter and I sat there and we're like, what can we do to its antlers to make it legal? Like, what can we file off? Or how can we fix this? Anyway, we didn't shoot it, got some great footage, and that client returned it the following year and shot a big one. But it was the sound, like you said, it was just silent.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I would assume for a fallow, which is a lighter animal, yeah, I would understand them not making a noise, but she was full size hind, right? So you would assume that she would have made one sound, right? But then she just bolted away, and then just a memory, like definitely that's that's the point when I got hooked, because that was the first time I went to a state forest to chase sambar, and then since then I've just been obsessed with them.
And how many have you harvested? All been there while someone else harvested?
About 6, all 5 hinds, and then the last hunt that I went to, I got a stag on that one, my first stag.
Hell of a stag.
Oh, thank you. Look, means I never actively looked for a stag. I'm more of a meat hunter, so I take whatever I get. But at the end of the day, stag is a stag. Excitement level is
through the roof.
Yeah, definitely through the roof. But then this particular guy that I was chasing,
you had some history with him?
Yeah. 2 months of history. Yeah, the first time we spotted him, he was still in velvet. And we knew it was him because he had a big scar right under his shoulder. So we knew exactly who this stag, who he was.
Did you not have an opportunity, or you?
Yeah. So the first time we spotted him, it was when we were returning back from the hunt in the afternoon session. It was night. We were going back to the camp, and he was standing in the middle of the road, not spooked at all, 20 meters away, just standing there for about 5 minutes, just in the lights. And then we literally had to get off the car and just say shoo, and then that's when he buggered off back into the state forest. And that's when we just noted which way he went, and that was luckily hunting zone, the green zone. So the next day we came back to that area and started scouting it hard, and then started finding some sign of his, like some rock trees and stuff like that. So we did that for a couple of trips. For almost a month we scouted that area, but never saw him again.
How often were you flying back down? Because it's not just a drive for you.
Yeah, no. I fly. Oh, yeah. I was crazy back when I started hunting, but then now it's just trying to be practical. But now, yeah, I just fly down to Canberra every 2 to 3 weeks. And then I have my mate who lives there. It's just 2 hours away from him, so it's more convenient that way. No gear, nothing. Just get my backpack and stuff. That's it.
So you got a glimpse.
Yeah.
You tracked roughly where he was. You found some sign.
Yeah.
Well, did you get another glimpse?
Yep. The other glimpse again. It was in the night. We were heading back again, but this time we were heading back home. That's when we spotted him. We were taking a turn, and sometimes what happens is when you're going through those clear cuts, you're taking a wide turn, and your spotties cover the whole ground. And he was with the hind. He was literally right next to the road, standing over there, and then we just stopped there and then took the binos out and then checked it out. It was the same stag, but this time he was in heart antler. So I said, probably he's nocturnal, because obviously he's gotten that big because he's smart. He's not getting out in the open during the day, and he's literally. And I think I've read it somewhere that Sambar have a radius of about 5 kilometers, and they can be anywhere within that. So that's the second glimpse that I got, and then we had forgotten about it. We were just doing our own thing, The last trip that I went to, we were just scouting new areas, hunting new hunting blocks, and then the last session, you just don't know what. I mean, sometimes you just get that gut feeling. You can say that let's just go back to that area and let's just sit where we saw him the second time we're coming out. Let's just sit there. If not him, something else might come out, but let's just try. And then we went there about 1 hour before sunset and just set ourselves up. And then the wind was like, it was coming from the west towards the northwest towards southeast direction. So it was a bit cross, and we were glassing that area. So, and for about 45 minutes, we were just glassing the area for where we thought that he might pop out from. But then for some reason, and I was fasting. Both my mate and I, we were both fasting at that time. And it was time for us to, it's a funny story, it was time for us to break our fast, because right at dawn we break our fast. And you know what happens when you're fasting the whole day and you're not drinking water, no food, nothing. Your brain starts playing, hallucinating stuff, and we were not feeling it. We were just tired. We were lethargic. We spent 2 days, not found anything. My mate shot a pig, but then nothing else other than that. So we were just not in. He was about 15 meters away from me. He was sitting, he was glassing, and then it was time to break our fast. And then I had the dates with me, and he forgot to keep his, so I ate one and I threw him up there, and then I didn't have water on me, because we didn't need water because we were hiking the whole day. He had water, so he's throwing the water bottle at me, and we were playing like this, and you would think we just
making noise
we're making noise and then creating all sorts of ruckus. We were just
nearly given up.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And then for some reason, because I was throwing stuff at him, so I had to turn towards him and do that. And so I just looked towards my left on my back, because the wind was doing that. So this area was still clear. And I see him crossing the road, the main road. And then I tell my friend, I'm just trying to point him towards that. He's just where it was a clear-cut area with a lot of blackberry in there. So we were sitting in a very awkward position, trying to save ourselves from the blackberry. So he couldn't, and it was very crunchy. So we were not able to move much, and I did not have my rifle on me. It was not even my turn to shoot. He had the rifle with him, and I was trying to point it at him, and he wasn't getting it. I was recording it, and then spent like 3 minutes, and that guy, that stag I could see that he was nervous, right? He wasn't completely. He was not just browsing or grazing, and just moving along. He constantly kept looking towards us, because the thing was, we were sitting on the top side of the valley, and it was coming down, and he was crossing the road where there was a creek, a dry bed. So probably he was not able to see us, but then he might have felt there's something wrong because the way he was moving. And then I said, okay, this is getting too much, because the closer he was getting, the bigger he was getting. But I first thought he was just a spiker or something, when I saw him at about 200 meters, and then he started coming close, and he started getting bigger and bigger. I said, oh man.
Did you consider it might have been the same stag at that point?
No, not at all. I did not know it until I saw him.
Went up on him.
Yeah. So I crawled my way to my friend. And then I just told him, pass me the rifle. And he's like, the mistake that I did was I told him it was a stag. And he was like, oh, can I shoot, please? I can't see it. Just tell me where it is. I'm like, look, I've been telling you for the last 4 minutes. You can't see. It's now or never. And he was nervous. This similar way to, the doe that we shot today. he was upright and he was about to bolt. I said, it's now or never. So he just gave me the rifle. And then if I was lying down, I had no view. Even prone, no view. So I had to stand up, take a freehand shot. Then there was no tree, it was clear cut.
How far?
I'm really bad at judging the distance, but I would say under 150 meters, 120 to 150 meters. It's usually a shot that I don't take, but at that point of time,
it's a big target too.
Yeah, it's a big target. Yes, exactly. So, but at that time, I did not have a choice. I had to take a call, and then took the first shot. Felt good because you could see when the shot landed on him, there was burst of mud dust coming off him. Which was quite apparent that I got him. And then he went for about 60 meters, and he still had good visuals on him. Yeah, clear, very clear. It was all open. And then I took the second shot, and that was the proper, and it landed straight in its heart. Didn't go more than 50 meters. It just rolled up, and when I went close to him, and even at that point, we did not know how big he was. And that's the beauty of these Sambar deer and many of these big deer is you really don't know how big they are until you actually get close to them. They're big. And when I got close to him, we saw the same mark, on the shoulder, and it was the happiest day for me. And I literally cried next to it. I didn't put it on in the video, but I literally had tears.
Get that video on the Patreon version.
I literally had tears in my eyes when it's such a beautiful thing. You're taking a life, but at the same time, there's a purpose for it. That, right? So it was quite special for me because I had been chasing him for a while. It was not just out of the blue. And then he did turn up he just come up out of the blue, no doubt about it. But just finally getting him, and then then looking at him. I sat there. We didn't, because it was getting dark. So we decided not to, because I wanted to keep the shoulder mount. And I didn't want to mess it up in the night, try to process it. So we left it for the night. It was quite a cold night. So we came back in the morning and sat next to it, and cherished the moment, you can say, admired it, and then took some pictures, and he's got a cape done, and it's currently sitting with the taxidermist, and it's just a waiting time now.
Is that your first caping job?
Yeah.
Tough one to start on.
Luckily, we had coverage there. So we went on Google, YouTube, and then we started looking at different versions of the easiest one that we could understand. We just followed the steps. We took our time, obviously. We're not professionals, so we took our time.
You had plenty of time too.
Look, it took us about 2.5 hours to do that. I'm sure a person who knows what he's doing, he would do it in pretty much an hour or so. But
that's actually quite quick. I mean,
is it? Well, maybe because we were two people, I guess.
Yeah, but for a first time, that's.
And he was big. Trying to
roll him over.
It would have been easier if he was hanging up, but trying to roll him over on all the sides. And
so I'm sure you gutted him out and carried him out whole. No.
Oh yeah, I tried to do that, but this time, he was just too big to do that. So we took as much as we could. We couldn't take the front portion much because we were trying to cape it, and a lot of dirt got into it. So the back portion was complete. The back straps, the back portion, everything was good enough to. It's
a lot of meat
away.
still.
That's still. He was easy over 300 kilos, easy, if not less, easy. So there was a lot of meat on him, and he was not. The taxidermist. I'm not a professional. I'm not experienced enough to judge. But the taxidermist, when he saw it, he said, "Mate, if you would have let him go, he's a trophy hunter." He was saying, you should have let him go, because if you would have let him go and shot him the next year, he would have been 32 plus. I said, this is public land you're talking about.
Yeah.
Next year I probably wouldn't have seen him. This is the biggest stag that I've seen in my life. I wouldn't be.
Did he go 30 or not quite?
He was 28 and a half.
Right.
That's in my dictionary is big enough.
I've never shot it. Sorry, I'm going to my leg here. I feel like I've got a leech.
Yeah.
I do. Here he is.
You can feel them crawling.
Got a mateys. Where is he? There he is.
Oh yeah, he's dead. Oh,
he's not dead. He's
big
full.
Fat. He's full. He's left you.
Yes. Ugh. So if you can see that on the camera.
Yeah.
He's going in the fire. Yuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the best experiences of my life, you can say. It's still fresh. It's not very old, just about 3 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful.
You live off that one for a while?
Oh yes, definitely. And it's gonna stick with me, definitely for a while.
Yeah, but it keeps the bug going, the sambar bug.
Oh yeah. It means now I feel obligated now because I took the rifle away from the poor guy. I feel obligated now to get him a stag as well. But then I think this is one thing that a very wise person once told me, that don't stress about getting a stag. It will come. Time will come. He will turn up someday. Just do your thing. Keep doing the basics consistently, and then he will come to you. Don't worry about it. Just have fun. Just go out there. Just do your own thing. Even if you're getting hinds, you're getting better at it. Improve your skills, and then they will come to you eventually. So
and it worked.
And it worked exactly. So and that's exactly what I'm doing now. It's not like I've shot a stag and I'm done, but I'm not actively looking for them.
Tick that one off and move past it.
Past it.
With the red you shot, was it a stag or a hind?
No, they were all hinds.
Right.
I've shot a spiker, a couple of spikers, but none of them were trophy size, you can say.
I shot a red in Nundle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. I put a post up about it, and I said that. The fact that I shot it was not important. What annoyed everyone was that I said where I shot it.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it's Nundle. Like, Hunters Campfire have whole podcasts related to shooting. Like, it's no secret that there's deer in these.
Or there were 40, 50 people coming up
right now.
There right now as we speak.
There's, I don't know, it's a weird, I don't quite understand it because I'm not in the state forest side of thing. I didn't quite realise what I was doing by saying that, and it definitely ruffled some feathers.
Look, I feel, with all honesty,
Pennsylvania's going to book out now.
It still gets.
That's what everyone said. That was the comment.
Yeah.
I put it up and I said Nundle, and everyone's like, "Oh, Nundle's going to book out now." I'm like, everyone knows there's.
Everyone
it's
knows
always booked out.
Look, means I understand. I understand the sentiment because it takes hard work for people to. But the point is, I feel, in my humble opinion, and without any offense, it's a bit hypocritical to say on one hand that we want to promote hunting, right, and we want to get more hunters getting out there, and on the other hand, you're being so secretive about sharing. Look, I'm the one. I don't sit on the fence, but I'm on the side where I don't share my GPS coordinates.
Sure.
But I would say a general area. I would tell people, how to find a deer habitat, where could they be hanging around, what would they be eating, what to look for, and then you go into the hard yards. Hiding a state forest and saying, oh, they're not. Everyone knows it. There's no point. It's just counterintuitive in my opinion. I do get a lot of, and this has happened in my recent video as well, that I hunted when I hunted at Nundle. So I kind of mapped out my approach to a particular block. So I got the Google image, and then I started drawing some lines as to where I'm going to sit, and at what time, where I know the deer were feeding, and at what time they might be coming. And this is all based on my research, right? Experience. It's not guaranteed that the deer are going to be there. I am devising a plan. I'm going with my instincts. I'm doing my homework, and I'm going there and I'm sitting. It's no guarantee that the deer will come from there. So I share that, and I got quite a bit of a lashback from people saying, where's the hunting spirit of just doing your thing, and and all of that. There are a lot of positive people who appreciate. I'm trying to help people. It's like if I wanted to enjoy hunting, I would have done that. I wouldn't have recorded nothing. But what really makes me happy, because I have done that and I have seen that, I've felt that personally, is that when I have taken new hunters to a state forest, and they have been hunting for over 2 years and they have never seen deer, and when they lay their eyes on the deer and their eyes just light up, they get so happy, even if they don't shoot. And that's what happened with that friend of mine when we spotted that stag, that fallow buck. He was so excited. He has been hunting state forest for over 2.5 years, never found success. Seen some deer running, while he's driving out. But then that really makes me happy, right? And that's the reason I try to help people and show them my plan. It's not that I'm sharing my spots, go and shoot there. Even if we share spots with people, if you're not doing the right thing, because there are a lot of things in a state forest that needs to go right.
The spot's only one of the factors.
Yeah, it's just one, and I think it's the minimal factor, because there's a lot of things working against you in a state forest. So even if I hand out free spots, over the internet, it's going to be the same. It's not going to make any bit of difference.
Yeah, it's a tricky topic.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm not fully up to date with the nuances of it because I don't focus on the state forest things.
Yeah. We're going to make quite a few people angry with this conversation.
We're gonna name, what are we gonna name it? On the wrong side of the fence. Hunting on the wrong side of the fence. Yeah. That's going to be the clickbait. But what we're referring to is, he spent his career hunting on the state forest and looking over into private, and then today, the majority of the deer we saw were, even though we're on private next door. They're on the wrong side of the fence. Everything's always on the wrong side of the fence.
Yeah, true.
So you've had a substantial amount of success increasing recently. Obviously, you had a bit of a slower start and then increasing.
Yep.
I wanted to some faith-based questions. I'm a pretty faith-based person, and comes up pretty regularly in the podcast. But obviously, follow Islam. You're a Muslim.
Yep.
I've been wanting to have someone on and ask the questions about how. I even asked Omar. I said, "How come you didn't get the beef pie? We're at the cafe where we are," and he said, "I weren't sure whether it was halal meat." So then my question to you is, how does hunting cross over into that? What steps do you guys take? What's different to how you've seen other people hunt?
Look, halal is the misconception that I have felt that is there in the Western countries. They think that halal is just limited to processing of the meat. Halal has a much deeper meaning to it. It starts all the way from how you even got the money to hunt that, if that makes sense. So you earn halal way. Basically what halal means is permissible. Non-halal means not permissible. Haram, that's in Arabic translation. So I have earned my money in a halal way. I paid my dues in a halal way. I bought my gear in a halal way, right? I'm following the state forest hunting rules in a halal way. I'm not hunting on exclusion zones. I'm not spotlighting. So a combination of all of this is halal hunting. It's not just going there and slitting the throat and get into the argument about drain the blood, don't drain the blood, and all of that stuff. Halal hunting starts from the origin of how you even got to that point. So, and obviously, yes, I'm not saying that the beef pie it did not come on that counter in a halal way. It's not been. It's part of it. The slaughtering of the animal is part of halal hunting, but then it makes up a big part of it, that it needs to be slaughtered in a certain way. There are differences in opinion about facing it in the direction of the Kaaba, which is towards the west, which is the holy place in our faith. And there are certain procedures. You close the eyes. Different people have different opinions, but at the end of the day, the important thing is you slit the throat, and while you're doing that, you're saying Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. So can you say that? Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Mm-hmm. So Bismillah is in the name of God, and Allahu Akbar is God is great. Mm-hmm. You say the prayer, and you slit it, and you do it in the most. Yeah, you can say that it's not. You're still at the end of the day killing. But do it in the most humane way. So you're taking a shot, and then you try to go to that animal as soon as you will try to reach them as soon as possible. Sometimes there are exceptions where when you hunt with a bow or you injured an animal and you didn't find them. So even for that you have flexibilities. Like when you're putting your cartridges in your magazine, you pray Bismillah Allahu Akbar and you shoot it. So you have the intention. So you have flexibilities to that as well. So yeah, it has a broader meaning to it, but we are quite particular about it. So we don't consume, and it's a similar thing in Judaism as well. So they have kosher meat. So they are particular about, they have their own set of ways. So these are all, so without getting into too much detail of, so you have all the three Abrahamic religions that stem out from the same place. So you have similar practices, you can say. So we are quite particular about that. So it has to be, and I've actually done a podcast with the Hunter Campfire Boys. We did a very thorough, and if anyone's interested in that, they can watch it on the Hunter's Campfire. That we walked through the whole, and my brother is a bit more, he's a learned person. He's an imam, so he has a lot of knowledge, where he links all of this to the authentic history behind it and scientific reasons as well. So yeah, there's a lot of more information on this, but yeah, that's pretty much an overview of our, what we believe.
So today, we may as well talk about that hunt and what happened, and we'll talk about the hunt and we'll talk about how it worked.
Yeah.
But then you shot one and we didn't slit its throat, so I want to ask you about that when we get to that. But I appreciate your views on those things. It's like I'm always interested in learning about that. So we'll circle back to that if we talk about that part, we'll skip the whole hunt. But so today we met up early. It was 5:30, I think. It was met up, and I was concerned. Wet and drizzly. I was concerned about the fog. I've had fog here recently.
You did mention that before coming.
And that just ruins everything until about 8 o'clock when it finally lifts. But today we had rain, which is better, surprisingly. And that was the first time we met, but we, geared up at the truck. We had a bit of a chat, and then we headed out. And to be honest, I was disappointed we didn't see anything quicker, because I'm sort of used to that on this place.
I'm still convinced you did that on purpose.
We took you the long way.
Yeah, you do.
There was a point when we were down the bottom of that creek, and I said, no, I think I can hear croaking. And Omar picked it up too, and we could just something, but it wasn't solid enough, and there was wind, so we kept moving, and we had the wind was terrible for us. It was at our back, so that's why I dropped down. We circled up and around, and we took a few glassing opportunities, which is mostly just to let Omar get his breath back. Wasn't used to my fast-paced, brisk walking, my private land walking. But then he spotted, at one point, he's like, there's a deer. Anyway, it turned out it was a wallaby, but that was a prior with his no binoculars. We moved along and we found some on the other side of the face, and that's when we sort of heard the croak.
Yeah.
And that was, I asked you before we recorded, I said, what was your favourite part? And you said that.
It was exciting. And I don't think he was far away. Although he was on the other side of the fence.
We were talking, so those ones we could see were 345 and he was less. Yeah. So 250 to 300.
It was very clear, but as soon as I got my camera to at least record its croaking. He was keeping quiet. He was just croaking for like 3 seconds, maybe 3-4 seconds, and then going quiet. So
What you can you can edit the audio in, edit in some croaking.
True. But then even those 3-4 seconds, I just felt something in my stomach. I was just praying to God that just do it once more, Just wanted to keep on hearing that over and over again, because it was such a surreal feeling, because I've never experienced that before.
It creates a different way to hunt them too.
Yeah.
Because you're hunting them vocally. You're like, oh, there they are.
Yeah.
I can't see them, but I'll head down there.
It's not like it's mainly. I would have probably heard croaking. I would have experienced it before. But what happens is the rut season, which is like the prime time of the year to hunt these bugs, falls right at the time of Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually we don't hunt during that period. But then
because it's hard to do so without drinking water.
Exactly. But then this year, I don't know. I was just being restless, you can say, and I just wanted to get out. I was going through stuff at my workplace, and even the stag that I shot, like I didn't even want to go to that trip. I was really, there was some messed up stuff going on at my work, and so my wife said, just go and just chill out, and then come back fresh, and then we'll deal with it. So we don't usually hunt during that, because it's a month of sacrificing things that you love, and you just devote all your time in prayers. So, and the rut season falls right bang in the middle of Ramadan. But then inshallah next year probably we're gonna get the rut, because the Ramadan month keeps on because it's related to
Lunar.
the moon. Yeah. Correct. So it shifts by about 15-20 days every year. So next year hopefully we're going to be perfect bang on time, and hopefully next year I'm going to try and get that experience again. And I'm not calling it.
That was just a taste today.
It was just a teaser.
It was a morsel.
Now I'm hooked now. I'm probably hooked now.
But before we heard it today, we saw there was a spike with 3 does.
Yeah.
And then we moved forward a little bit further, and then we heard it. And I said, I don't think I'm pretty sure that's not him croaking. It sounded slightly more mature.
Yep.
Didn't sound like essentially a 2-year-old croaking. And then we, continued hunting, and it was very hard to explain to you, and a little bit hard to do, but to walk away from that croak.
Yeah.
Because in your brains, you're like, why is he going that way? Yeah. But there was one section I wanted to check out, because if we didn't check it out and we went down, and then I would have wanted to go back up there, and it would have been gaining elevation again. So anyway, we went back around, and then we eased ourselves around a corner, knowing that those deer were in this area, and sure enough, they were quite close, 70 or so, and then we moved in a bit closer. And again, it was just this little spike with 3 or 4 does, and they knew something was up, but we were like 60 meters away. And they moved away, and I gave them some calls, and they looked and turned back, but they weren't.
Yeah, they weren't interested.
They were like, that's not real.
Yeah.
We know he's faking that.
Yeah.
So then we moved further around and continued along this track, and I spotted them. I was in front, and I can't remember if I said anything. I just put my hand out or clicked or something and stop. And everyone stopped. And I could just see 1 doe at that time.
Yep.
But then, you can tell it how you saw it from your angle.
So as soon as I was...
You're quite close, or?
Yeah, it was quite close.
Didn't look back.
Like always, I was looking down for sign, and then suddenly I hear your clicks, and then I stopped, and then I saw a doe, one doe coming down, and then one more came down, and I think you asked me, what do you want to do? Means I said, I'll take it. And then there was a tree right behind me on my left-hand side, and then I got, because it was a step up, elevated slightly up, so I was getting a better shot. And then there was a third doe who came in, and she was looking straight at us.
She looked as you were moving behind the tree, just casually, but then she saw you appear between the trees.
Yeah.
And she was like, that ain't a branch.
Yeah. That's yes. What's this thing sticking out of the branch? Is something wrong here?
That shiny skin a mile.
Yeah. And so, and then, I mean, so I was like, do I shoot or do I not? Because I really wanted to get a buck.
The conversation was, so I was standing next to him, and I said, they're looking at us.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
I said, I don't mind if you shoot one, that's fine. It's not on camera, because I knew Omar was trying to film it, but he was a little bit further behind. Yeah. And this doe was looking at us, so if I motioned to him to come forward, they would have all run.
Yep.
And I just, because we spoke before the hunt, I said, what's more important here? Trying to, secure some footage. And you said footage.
Yep.
But then in the heat of the moment, he really wanted to shoot one. But and I just said, it doesn't matter which one you shoot.
Yeah, but honestly, I thought Umar was getting half of, because maybe at least half of the deer, and I was happy with that. But later on, we found out that he wasn't getting any vision.
So, from where he was standing, and you'll see it in the footage, but he could see the two that were just in front of her, but not the one that we were looking at.
Correct.
So you'll see, if you do see the footage, when the video comes out, there's a shot that's taken.
Yep.
But the the deer that you see aren't the ones we're shooting at. It's actually just slightly around the tree line, a little bit further.
Yeah.
Cameraman.
And then we took the shot, and then she just fumbled around for a bit, and then probably just 5 meters she rolled up, and then while we were walking towards it, the most gut-wrenching thing is there's a buck appearing from the back. Like, why the hell didn't I wait? But like you said, like probably if we would have waited, she would have ran, and the whole herd would have ran.
And they were right on that crossover between our block and the other block.
Exactly.
So if all they had to do was go uphill, and they were untouchable.
And they were untouchable. So,
which is exactly where they went.
Yeah. At the end of the day, yes, they were croaking tick, saw a buck tick. I didn't, other than the state forest buck that I told you about, even looking at them, they're such majestic animals.
And that was a fleeting glimpse today, which you won't see on footage because Omar pointed the camera at it but didn't press record.
Although I keep reminding him.
He's learning.
So
that was a good experience, and it all unfolded quite textbook. Took the shot. Like you said, she stumbled 4 or 5 meters. She goes uphill and then tumbles downhill into some blackberries. And that all went to plan.
So I've learned a few tips and tricks from you about...
we'll get to that. You can explain that in a second.
All right.
But I want to ask, and then I've already asked Omar and asked his answer, but so then we went over there and she was obviously very dead. So there's no benefit in slitting the throat?
Yeah, you can say that, because at the end of the day, slitting the throat is... when they're alive, when you slit the throat, you're taking away its ability to breathe anymore, so it dies quicker. The blood flows, and it dies quicker, right? So you're getting it out of its misery. But then at that point of time, by the time we reached, because we spotted that buck, and then we just started walking towards it, trying to get a shot at him. By the time we came back, she was already dead. So. There was no point in slitting the throat, but like I said, while chambering my ammunition, I had already said my prayers, so we were still good there.
Yeah.
But it's not that this is a backup in case things don't go as planned. But the first preference should always be to try to go there as soon as possible and try to slit its throat, get it out of its misery as soon as possible.
Yeah, I've done a fair few home kills, killing sheep and things at home, and it's actually, from a RSPCA point of view, it's illegal for another animal to see you kill another animal.
Yeah, even in Islam, that's exactly the same.
So it should be out of sight of the others.
Correct.
So I use, my method for home kills is we use a 22, and I shoot them in the head at point blank, and then cut throat. So it's a bit of a, I want to say I'm a bit of a girl. Like I don't like cutting throat without shooting in the head, because they squirm a bit and they're a bit jumpy and they make a bit of noise and doesn't it? So bullet in the brain and then cut the throat. So the heart is still pumping.
Yep.
Now, I approached a vet friend of mine and I asked, how long does the heart pump for after they've been shot in the head?
Right.
And he said, I can't Google that, and you probably shouldn't. But we sort of worked it out at about 3 minutes, 2.5 to 3 minutes.
Right.
So the heart still pumps whilst they've been brain shot.
Yeah.
Because my question was, I've got 4 to do, can I just shoot them all? And then cut all 4? Because it's annoying to shoot one, drag it out, cut its throat. So from a, process and workflow point of view, and that's when he pointed out that you're not supposed to let the other ones see what you're doing. But so that's what I do now. I'll shoot 2 or 3, and then that's when I can cut throats, and the heart is still pumping, and then still empties them out. But I do it more from I'd say the bullet to the head is the humane part ended, and then the cutting of the throat is more physically just bleeding out, pulling the blood out. But when you chest shoot, from a hunting point of view, 90% of shots are neck and chest. They've already done the bleeding out, but it's just inside, in the cavity usually, and that comes out once you. It's not as efficient as the neck cut. That's for sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, cutting the throat, like you said, means when it's still alive. I think the 3 minutes that you mentioned, the heart's it's dead, right? Like it's just the muscle.
Correct. It's
spasm or I don't know what's the technical term for it, but it's just the body after, but it's not feeling anything at that point. So slitting the throat, I think it just drains out, and when the heart's still pumping, so the blood is still trying to move out, and then it's coming out of the neck. So. But in terms of shooting, look, there's a prescribed blood. This is a prescribed way that there is no obviously when you're shooting, there's blood coming out of the cavity anyways. But the ruling is for general how to slaughter an animal, right? Generally, so you slit a throat, the blood is going to just flow out of it. But from a hunting point of view, we still follow the same things, but blood at the end of the day is still coming out.
There's a bit of leeway.
Yeah, that's why I said there's a bit of leeway, because back in those days, I'm talking about 1,000, 1,400 years ago, there were no rifles and high-tech bows. Back then, there were spears and basic bow and arrow. So the animal wouldn't have probably died from that or instantly. So they had time to do that. But then we're still following the same practice just to ensure that we're not leaving any room for any ambiguity in that. Because once you start getting into, what if this, what if that, then you start getting into all sorts of arguments about what is right and what is wrong. So just go by the book. What does the book say? Just do that. Simple.
Now, from a trophy point of view.
I knew you would get to that.
And you said, you told me earlier with your Sambar, you did it.
Yeah. Because when we reached it was still kicking its legs. So what I'm asking is, a cut to the throat is a terrible, not the end of the world, but from a taxidermy point of view, that's not where you would normally cut something. Yeah. So they have to hide those stitches, which you can do in a Sambar stag. Yeah. But with a thinner head, things like fallow, you'd really struggle to hide. Right. Yeah. I mean, look at that time, it was in the heat of the moment. Sure. The first instinct. The first instinct for us was to dispatch it humanely as much as possible. But then later on, I realized, okay, because I knew at that time that it's hard to. But this is a new thing that I've just learned from you is Sambar you can still work out, but fallow it's much
they just
harder.
got more hair to cover the stitches.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
Yeah, exactly.
Cutting here, you'll get a scar, but you cut up in here, your hair covers it if you've got a beard.
And I called the taxidermist and I told him, look, I did slit the throat. He said, okay, get it to me and then we'll see what we can do with it. And when he saw it, he said, okay, I can.
Taxidermists are magicians.
Yeah.
They can do some crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff, yes.
Yeah.
But then he said, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll fix it. So I was really relieved by that, but until then I was really stressed.
So we got a doe on the ground today, and you said it was you hadn't seen that colour before? Mostly
I mean,
chocolate?
because mostly I chase fallow mostly at Nundle or Hanging Rocks or Tugalo, and predominantly we get chocolate fallow over there. You know, the odd beige, golden brown.
Yeah.
But this one that we shot, and you'll see it in the videos, that...
We call it common.
You call it common?
Common.
This is common?
Common.
Okay.
Best
It's not
colour.
very common for me.
Yeah, well, just pure orange with white spots.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's the real fallow.
Well, so
Is there a history?
originally I thought that too, but we had a guest on that. His explanation was there's only one fallow. It's not. I always thought there was 4 colours. He said there's one, and it's just a gradient from that to that, and anywhere in between. However, the majority of them tend to be grouped in these 4 colours. There's variants all the way through. So it's all one species. It's just a slightly different colour variation. Traditionally in this area, we don't get many chocolates. I did shoot a velvet chocolate buck, which is kind of contradictory because it's one way to get rid of chocolates is to shoot your bucks. But the genetic line is here, but most of them are that common and mantle coloured.
Right. Okay. Yeah, the beautiful skins. Beautiful skins.
Very nearly like a chittle.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not a big fan of chocolate, maybe because I see it so commonly.
I love chocolate, not fallow, but just chocolate in general.
Because we see them so commonly, means at Nundle, it's just when I see these, such a beautiful coat of white in the bottom.
They definitely stand out in the bush, don't they?
Definitely. Yeah, they're very easy to spot, definitely. So I would have kept the skin if I wouldn't be traveling down south.
You still can.
Can I? You've got a freezer.
Because you've got it in the freezer.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because the way I cut it is the same way you would do it for skinning. All you need to do is just down the arms to join those cuts.
Might as well just buy some salt on the way.
Just freeze it.
Just freeze it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Drop it off here on the way back and we'll give it to you.
Why not? Then I thought, because the way you asked me, do you want to keep the skin? I said, it's too much of a hassle, so I didn't want to.
Well, it would have been, the only difference would have been we would have scun it back at the vehicle.
Right.
So we sort of carried it out with the skin on.
With the guts as well?
No, gutted first.
All right.
Like we did. I want you to talk about that. I want you.
Yeah.
Because I did it the way I normally do it.
Yeah.
But it's different to some people.
It was not normal in my book. It was definitely very interesting the way, because I've never seen that. Yeah, I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube of different sizes and different countries, but I've never seen the way you've done it. So basically, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm going in the right sequence, is you started off with the throat, just below not exactly at the joint, just below the throat, and you would cut it inwards, and then you took the windpipe out, and then you got back to the backside of the fallow, and then you made a hole in its, what do you call it?
All around the bum. So,
then you took the whole thing nicely, cleanly out, and you pushed it in, and then you started slitting it from the center and you joined that from the back, from the bum side to all the way to the throat, and you literally just opened it up, and it was it looked easy while you were doing it, but I'm sure it's quite effective because it's a perfect way to even preserve the skin apparently now, because the way I used to do it, just straight away just go for just make a slit in the near the tummy, and then just take it all the way down to the cavity and just take the guts out. And it was a difficult way because you have to, there are some tight angles that you have to work with.
Holding a knife in there and you can't quite see.
Yeah, and you can't see, but with this way you just open it up and everything was nicely, we were on flat ground, so it was nicely opened up, and then I could see what we are doing. So the starting part is a bit probably is a bit tricky, but once you slid through the whole thing, I think it was opening up nicely.
The other thing, so I used my axe so I opened up the chest cavity. I didn't actually cut the diaphragm yet, but I opened up the chest cavity, and then you could get in, and that's why I do the throat first. So it frees up the trachea and esophagus, so you can pull it back into the chest cavity.
Right.
And essentially, when you're finished, you can hold up the throat, and what you've got is the respiratory system, and then the gut system, and then
everything was still
the bum and everything all in one.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
One whole piece.
That was really. You made it look easy. Like I'll say that again and again, but it was. I'm sure it's
fun.
much harder.
It's fun doing it in front of people who haven't seen it, because it is quite. It's time efficient.
I'm going to try it. I'm definitely going to.
And all size animal, it doesn't change it.
Is it? Do you reckon it's going to be harder with a deer like Sambar? Because with this, you could just hold it, you could balance it, while you're splitting it through.
Yeah, it's slightly harder, but if you have two people and you can get it on its back with its legs up in the air, or if you're on the side of a hill, you can actually tie its back legs up to a tree and hold it.
Something with antlers, because they get so.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, it's practice, right? Like I think
if it had antlers and we were caping it,
right,
I would do that first.
Yep.
So I'll do the cape first, and then the gut after.
All right, got it. No, but definitely it's learn a new technique, which is quite unique. I'm gonna try it definitely. I'm gonna send you a video of me trying to butcher it up, as you said.
Butcher it, do it well or do it poorly.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up, the reason you're on this journey and heading from Sydney through to Canberra is you're hosting a hunt.
Yep.
For a group that you're a part of?
So, we have a hunting group of about 300 people in that group. It's a closed group. So every, I would say 6 months, we set up this, and the whole intention, again, is a very similar concept that the hunter campfire guys do. Get the newbies out there, try to share knowledge with them as much as you can. Pair them up with the more experienced hunters. Try to make them understand how to find deer, because that's what happens with the newbies. Right? They get frustrated. A lot of them, some proportion of those guys, they start doing the wrong stuff because they're frustrated. Some of them, they just give up. And the rest of them, they still carry on. So we want to raise awareness as to, and I say this that state forest hunting can be. It's hard. I'm not saying that it's not hard. But once you understand the concept of finding a deer, it gets a bit easier. It's not easy by any means, but it gets easier because you start building up patterns, and when you understand, when you look at a terrain, when you look at the features of the terrain, you start building up a picture of what the deer might be doing. If there's a deer, what it might be doing down there. You start painting a picture, and then you start finding signs. You start building all those patterns. And that's what we try to teach the newcomers in that camp, and that's the main one part of it. The other part is obviously getting together, having a bit of community building, and then and just have some good time, and make new friends. A lot of people make new find their hunting partners over there.
That's where you found yours from?
Yeah, exactly. That's where I found mine from.
You might need a new one after this one.
Oh, yes.
Cameraman.
And now I'm going to sell my binoculars. They're useless when I'm with Umar. Yeah.
He's the bionicle man.
Yeah. yeah. So that's what we're doing, and that's where I'm heading right now. Right after this, we're going there for about 5 days. Yep. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
And get some fresh meat in camp now.
Oh yeah, thank you. And I should really thank you for that. Reaching out. You don't know me at all. We have no common friends. It means a lot that you just reached out and you just, invited me over to hunt on this prime land. And I can't thank you enough. It's just a very, very high. I really don't have words to express how thankful I am, because I've never really experienced. I usually get thrashed, you can say, for some of the things that I post, some of the videos that I post up and the content that, but then looking through that and then contacting me and inviting me over, it really meant a lot. And thank you for that. And the meat, we've taken the whole thing. This is going to feed all the 40 people who are coming over there, who are all going to be very thankful to you. So, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Just on the taking the whole thing out, they literally took the whole thing out. I mean, we gutted it.
Yeah.
But they got the stick on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And carried it out.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, and then Umar will struggle walking in a straight line, like had to.
It's a challenge carrying them out like that, but it's better than one person doing it on their back.
Definitely. She
was a big doe, so plenty of meat to go around.
Plenty of meat, yes.
Look forward to hearing the stories from that camp. And for the people listening, watching, how do they find your videos and you?
So I have my YouTube channel called Khan Adventures, so you can find me there, and I'm also on with the same name. I'm also on my other socials, Instagram and Facebook, where I post on short snippets of stuff that I do. And on my channel, of course, I have all my hunts, and they're on, and not just my hunts, but I try to educate in terms of how to hunt on state forest, how to be successful on state forest. So yeah, that's more of the content that I try to focus on. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to go out there, have some fun, and share as much knowledge as possible and raise as much awareness as possible.
I think it's becoming more of a thing.
Yeah.
And we were going to wrap up, but one more thing. With newer hunters that are appreciative of the help they've received, so they then pass that on again.
Yep.
And I think we're moving away from there's a word for it, patriarchal, or I can't remember what it's called, but hunting used to be passed down through generation. And there's been a big influx of beginners who have come from a background of no pass down. So they're learning from videos, podcasts, social media, whatnot. And then I'm seeing those people be a little bit more willing to share. And that's nice to see.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, I saw the guy's eyes and I got hooked onto it. I said, okay, this is a feeling that
That's why I want
this. That's true. Now I know.
Yeah.
And probably, I'm still new at it. I'm by no means, I consider myself an expert or anything. I'm still learning. But I try, whatever I learn, I try to pass it on so that, the guys try to do the right thing and be successful at the end and be happy. That's it.
All right, everyone.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you. That was good.